Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bronson Rants. I'm sorry for the long wait in between episodes, but life happens. Sadly, I do not do this full time. Anyway, moving forward, today I'm here to talk about something that was very near and dear to my heart, but I am not a cruel man, and when I see something in pain and agony, and with no chance of recovery really, I try to be the bitter man and put a bullet in its brain to put it out of its misery. And that is why I wanted to talk about Star Wars today. I used to love Star Wars. When I was a kid, I fucking loved Star Wars. I saw the original movies when they redid them in theaters in the mid-90s, and I just fell in love. I had TIE fighters, and I had an X-Wing, and I had that little spear thing that they rode into my Mos Eisley on. I had a Luke figure and a Vader figure. I got the VHS tape and watched it so much I burned it out. I loved Star Wars. So in 1999, of course, they say they're releasing a movie, and I'm still a kid at this time, really about to hit the preteen years, but that did hit the preteen years by the time this movie was out. And I saw it in theaters with my grandmother, and I saw it later again later that year when it hit VHS and DVD, and I liked it, but I was really kind of still disappointed. And then watching those movies as an adult, I obviously knew why I was disappointed, and why anyone would be. And then they would go on, I'd watch the rest of the new trilogy and realize, and episode 1 was okay, episode 2 was a horrible tire fire that was boring and pointless and had bad acting, and the only redeemable part of it is the part where Yoda fights Count Dooku. And then episode 3 was kind of 50-50 okay. Like, it had some, I hate the fact that Mace Windu kind of died like a bitch, but what you gonna do? So that was my experience with the movies. And then the games. Star Wars games, from the first Star Wars games all the way up until around 2006, were awesome. The Jedi Knight games, the TIE Fighter games, the Rogue Squadron games, the Knights of the Old Republic games. Amazing games. The Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo was super rad. Star Wars was one of the biggest names in video games for a reason. They were fucking awesome. And then, 2007 happens, and Force Unleashed is just kind of okay, and then they just fall off a cliff, and they're just crap. The MMO was another okay game, like it was World of Warcraft with a Star Wars skin and lots of voice acting, and then just everything else was garbage. Force Unleashed 2, hot tire fire of garbage. Star Wars Connect, embarrassingly embarrassing. Whoever made that should feel ashamed. Other than those hilarious Star Wars themed parodies, those were pretty good. But they're just awful, just horrible fucking games. And then the last two tiers of this, Star Wars Television, which, Clone Wars was pretty hype. I'm not even gonna lie. That show was cool. And then the books and comics, which Star Wars books and comics are all terrible. They're just all universally bad and come off as pretty much, they come off as a bunch of Star Wars fans had a giant circle jerk and just prop up the franchise. It just feels like fan fiction. It feels like bad fan fiction is what it feels like in pretty much every single comic and book for Star Wars. There are some exceptions, but the vast majority, it is crap. Sturgeon's Law in full effect. 90% of everything is crap. 90% of Star Wars... Actually, no, this is more. 99.9% of Star Wars comics and regular novels are crap. Which brings me to my point today. So Star Wars has had its ups and downs, but for the past... From 2006 onward, though, it has just been dark. Just talks about rebooting it for another trilogy. Talks about, the Star Wars 1313 gets canceled. LucasArts gets canned. They continue to release more terrible comics and whatnot. Really, the only highlight was that 360 that sounded like R2-D2, which was hype as shit. I'm not even going to lie. And then They had and then the Clone Wars show. Everything else has just been bad, money grabbing, just everything feels like a just disgusting, obvious cash grab to get money from suckers who are still Star Wars fans, and they're playing off those nostalgia of those fans who saw those original movies. And I think it's a shame. And now Disney bought the rights, and they're going to make another trilogy, and there's no way they're going to make it good or live up to that original trilogy. There's no way they can win. I'm sorry. But first off, you're getting Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and I forgot who played Princess Leia. I apologize. To reprise their original roles and come back and be the stars of the new movie. Dear God, why? I realize it's going to take place in the future, 30 years in the future, but why? Why would you do this? The original Star Wars movies were the hero's journey. That is what Star Wars was. It was the hero's journey in fucking space. And now you're going to... now what are we getting? The hero's post-journey? Where he... what's he gonna... Is he gonna go through it again? But now he's a 70-year-old man who... If you've ever read the expanded universe, Luke 30 years later is like the ultimate killing machine, and he can just he doesn't even have to fight people. He can use the Force just to blow up their brain, essentially. So if they follow the expanded universe, the movie's going to be terrible. And if they don't follow the expanded universe, fans are going to get pissed and hold up double middle fingers and be like, "Rah! All this fiction we memorized because we're nerds." Ugh. Which, no offense to nerds, I have, God knows, I could write an encyclopedia about World of Warcraft. But, there's no way you can win. And why do we keep propping this franchise up if there's nothing good coming from it? Nothing. Nothing as good has come from Star Wars in almost the past decade. We haven't had a good movie. We've had good-ish games, but no great games, not like we were used to be getting. The comics has always been universally shit, and yeah, that TV show was pretty solid. Not worth, parading this once amazing franchise, the corpse, this near corpse, this half-living body around saying, "It's still alive, we're keeping it alive," and then dragging it through cacti, and then picking it out and pulling it out and making sure it's still alive again. That's what it's like. It's like taking a half-living assault victim, tying them to the back of your horse, walking through, just a ton of cacti, and if he's still alive, picking out the pins and needles and doing it again and again. That's what it's like doing. And I know why, because you have an affinity for Star Wars from your childhood, whatever it was, and God knows I had that. I remember when we were recording the footage for this, we booted in Rogue Squadron, and I was 12 again. I was like, oh, I'm having so much fun. I also realized when some stuff needs to just end, and Star Wars needs to end. There hasn't been anything good. It needs to take an extended break from being in the spotlight. Star Wars has been in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form for essentially 40 years now. No, yeah, almost 40 years. So, and a good 5-year break where no games, no movies, nothing Star Wars comes out, then the reboot can happen. But I mean, just when was the last good game? What was the last good Star Wars game? 2006, Battlefront 2, or Commando, the Commando one. Republic Commando, and then what was the last trilogy of movies was at worst a train wreck and at best okay, versus the original trilogy, which is largely a masterpiece. The original trilogy of Star Wars films was amazing, and The Empire Strikes Back in particular is one of the greatest science fiction films of all time. Yeah, I don't know. Star Wars just needs to go into a corner and just go away for a little bit. Reevaluate it. Bring back the franchise. Also, last little request here. Why the fuck can't we get an original print on Blu-ray? Han shot first. God damn it. And no one wants to see Jabba the Hutt, that early scene. They just want to talk about him and imagine him. Okay? Alright? No one wants to see fucking CG Hayden Christensen put into that fucking original end scene. Nobody. Everyone wants the original cut and on Blu-ray, but you're not giving it to us, so fuck you. Anyway, this has been Bronson Rants. I'll be back next week with something far more video game related. Or not next week, but I'll be back in a week or two, in 2 weeks, with something far more video game related. Go watch What the Hell. It's an excellent show. Go watch all our other shows. Go on iTunes and give us all 5 stars and positive reviews so we end up in the iTunes top 100. Anyway, this has been Bronson Rants. Thank you. Have a good week.
Access granted.